both my parents worked in the evenings, so they had I stayed with a babysitter, and her daughter, Jenny, um, did gymnastics once a week. And so Jenny's mom brought me up to the gym, and apparently, I don't remember this, but my mom has told me the story that I guess I came home very upset that Jenny's mom wouldn't let me play on the playground. I kind of accidentally kind of went in because Jenny was doing gymnastics, and the mom took me up there. Her name is Cindy, had taken me up there just to, like while Jenny did her class. And, it was just an hour, and I guess my mom was fine with that. And then, but I guess I came home and was very upset. I didn't obviously never heard of gymnastics. I didn't know what it was. All I saw was all these things, and all the kids are
Round.
running around, I'm sure. Right. So,
Oh, I love that.
I guess then my mom, I guess, got me in with so that I get to play on the playground when Jenny got to play. And
When did
yeah.
you actually start training with Bella and Marta?
It was um after the 88 Olympics. So it was like that
Okay.
January after. And I'd already competed as an elite. Like 88 was my first season as a junior that I was so my 12-year-old year was my first year as an elite. I remember what some standout memories of that are I uh, the first meet that the Crowleys came to, like that they were there at, right? So I'd grown up at this gym, but they'd never been at any of the sessions that I was in.
Mhm.
I think I fell in every event. Yeah, I fell in every, like I tipped a cast, I sat down vault, put my hands down on the floor, and I fell off, like fell on beam. So I mean, like that was like awesome. Um, I'm never gonna be on their team, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's never gonna. Um, and that's even like Marta has told the story over and over again. Like, yeah, like we just didn't think you were gonna be that good. Like you were kind of
Mm.
smart aleck in the gym, and you didn't compete very well. And I was like, I just don't remember that I didn't compete very well. But so that was a great experience. It was the first year that I had the Crowleys as my personal coaches, and my teammates. I'll tell you, like when I think through, like I just really can't ever understate what it has been like. I mean, number one, these are still my best friends. I'm so grateful. Erica Stokes lives, well, it's not her married name, but she lives here in Dallas. Her two kids go to the gym. Eric and I have like still remained very close. Betty is still my
Yeah.
best friend in the whole world, and our lives have stayed parallels no matter what. Amy Shear, I mean, it's been the same. Like I feel like my core group of like the four of us
Mhm.
have stayed, like, and just the impact that I believe that we had on and for each other is, I just feel so lucky for it. And 91 World Championships were here in this country, and from I guess where things had gone in 90, and
Mhm.
it felt like it was, again, it was possible. And so I feel like I like my I feel like I walked through it with it being like that it's a possible thing. There was no, like, we haven't had a world champion, and we haven't, it just, I don't remember it being a thing, which again, in hindsight, I'm just glad for my naivety, I think.
Of like
Uh,
not being aware that you could win and kind of make history and like how monumental it really was.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it really, and I don't know if it's felt this way for you, but I mean, things in reflection have become a bigger deal than they were walking through
Yes.
them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I do think that's a huge part of like our age when we're striving for these things.
That's so true.
I'm grateful for that, right? Like, and I do
Yeah.
wonder, that's got to feel a whole lot different right now because everything is so, like, there's so much like information, like it's,
Yes.
and like, and the um, uh, celebrating, or like, I mean, just like I guess celebrating potential. Like, I don't feel like we had that as much because it wasn't so much about like, how do we keep like making this a newsworthy something, like, you know what
Right.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we got to walk through it and then like, yay, right? And then you kind of, I mean, I had a little bit of that, I feel like, going from like world championships in 91 to the Olympics. But it wasn't, I mean, I've had people say over the years, like, oh, it was too much pressure. Like, I really didn't see it as that. Where
Yeah.
like what I watch now, I'm like, I can't imagine what that would feel like, but to me, I didn't, maybe it was just from being oblivious. Like we weren't walking around with a phone in our hand, and
Yeah.
it's not like gymnastics was on television every week and you could get on the internet and see, like, it just felt like the next thing anyways. Hillary Grivich, I mean, it's probably my standout memory, I would say, of all of the whole competition. Was that when I went on vault, I got a 10 in the team competition, and she
Oh.
saw the score first and like jumped up and down and like grabbed me, like just like,
Oh.
I just remember like that as being like one of the biggest things, that they're
Oh,
like
so
one of my best memories of it.
cool.
And so it was like I was personally teammates with it was four of us that were from
Yeah.
Curly's, and then Michelle Campy had been at Curly's with Rick before she left, right?
Yeah.
So, and then, so other than that, it was, Shannon, that was on the team, and I'd grown up with her, right? So it really did feel like, a group of teammates won that whole thing together too.
How did it feel after you won? I mean, like when you got
Yeah.
back into the gym the next day or the next week, I mean,
And it feels like it was like almost a fantasy, like living some kind of, like
yeah.
I just didn't have space in my head because of experiences that things would ever not work out. Like, and not in a cocky way, I don't think, like,
Right.
or like an overconfident, just in, well, when I open the door, right, this is what's going to be out the door, right? Like it's there. Like I've seen it there. So
Mhm.
they let us do this, or not they let us, but we had a separate camp thing that was like behind closed doors, and then coaches voting who was on the team. I mean, like just kind of crazy pants that it
That's,
kind of, I mean, there was like kind of a shaking this thing up. Cause I was like, well, on one side, like I truly feel like Betty is such a great gymnast and my best friend. And I see her and I know that she has potential obviously to go to the Olympics and
yeah.
individually perform like that too. And it just was so weird that they literally marched us out on the floor though at Olympic trials as an Olympic team. And it was like, wait,
Without
how are they
Betty.
doing? Like, we don't, well, the team wasn't selected yet. Like, it was just
Right.
so crazy. It sucked all the way around, right? For everyone. Like, I don't like that. It shouldn't have been that way for Kim. It shouldn't have been that way for Betty. It should, what I mean? It just,
Right. It's not fair.
so from leaving my home and then going like, so we practice at the ranch and we're like going home, like kind of like packing stuff up, going to, so it was in Orlando at, Browns.
Browns. Oh, Rita Brown.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
Rita. Yeah. So it was in their gym. And then we went to Tulsa where we had processing, like where like all of the Olympic teams went through and we got all of our gear. And then they chartered a flight over. We stayed in France for a while. Then we went to the Olympics. I mean,
Jeez.
I was exhausted. I mean, like absolutely. I mean, I left weighing 84 pounds, which is still nothing, right? As a whatever, but ended up at 78 pounds in Barcelona. Like the whole thing just felt like it was super hot. It was like, I mean, just you know what I mean? Like, so like I look at those things, I'm like, just the difference that, going into 91 and just how much the environment can dictate what that is, right? That like, that part was different. But I don't feel like, again, I really don't think it was intentional. Like that's really where I've gone to. Like, I don't think that anybody was trying to make it harder or worse or, what I mean? But
Mhm.
it did have a toll at
Mhm.
the end of the day. So
And you mentioned the food thing. Did you ever struggle with disordered eating or anything? I mean, I know that Curly was so controlling over
yeah.
things like that.
um I would say no, but yes. I mean, like I
Mm.
never like again, and I feel very fortunate with that I think a lot of that was, my home life, that I didn't feel any stress of like not even a little bit of one thing or other. I can just remember my mom saying something one time that she goes, I don't care what you eat. I don't know. I also don't know the healthiest things to make. I'm trying to learn it too. Um, just don't have that man call me in there because I don't know what to tell him if he's saying you're not eating the right thing. And he's like,
You want
like
to Bella,
I
that
don't want
man?
you. Yes. I'm going like I just don't want him to call me in the office and like, like, hey, she could, like she's too heavy or she's this, you know what I mean? I'm going she's going like, because I don't agree with him and I don't really know what to do about it. But I respect that he wants the best for you. Like, just can you
Oh,
just do the right thing?
sure.
Like, do what's not going to get
Me
me
in trouble.
I'm like, I really don't know what to do. Like, seems
Wow.
like she eats well, but she does like ice cream, and we buy ice cream. Like, but yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you would want to share? Or sometimes I like to hear, what wise words would you give to current and future athletes, or what would you have told your younger self?
I I've spent a few like in how like we've gone through like with things in the world and it's like world issues and gymnastics issues and personal um and I feel like it boiled all the way down to like, is gymnastics even good? Like I was like, I got like kind of scared of like, oh my gosh, like is this thing that this 6-year-old saw as this beautiful playground, and then it opened all of these doors that I could never have even like dreamt, you know what
Mhm.
I mean, would have been what my life has had the opportunity to walk through. Is it even good? And I can confidently say that it is.